Welcome back to Beers Up Sports Talk. Sibo in the house, Debo in the house, episode 21. Let's get right to it. Debo, what are you drinking tonight?
I saved this last juice bomb from Sloop Brewery. Saved it since the last one like a week ago. So drinking that, and I decided to join you with a cup tonight.
There you go. There you go. Be safe out there, folks. And I am back at Abandoned Building Brewery. Picked up some more beers. Temporary Sanity, an IPA. Again, color is gorgeous. Same color as your glasses, just mine's actually the beer. Let's get right into it. All right, NFL owners have approved a sponsorship proposal that mirrors what a lot of the soccer leagues in Europe are doing, where the first 6 to 8 rows will be advertisements. It'll give them an opportunity to kind of maximize their income in the COVID-19 world. Sure, some folks that have season tickets in those rows are going to be a little upset. But D, what do you think?
Does it matter? Are we really going to we're really sitting here talking about having fans in the stadium in three months when we have 3 or 4 states closing down right now because there's a huge spike because people are stupid and they just don't do what they need to do. I mean, we're never going to have fans in the stadium. That's legitimately how I feel. Sell the whole thing out and just make advertisement money for everyone.
Well, so I've clowned the NFL in the past for like not coming out and saying we're not going to have fans, and I think a lot of the chatter was from fans being like, "Well, I'm going to get my tickets. I'm going to show up to these games. We're going to go to NFL games." My guess is that the NFL was like, "We're not going to say anything until it's closer," because what we've seen with these sports leagues is you say one thing and the next week something happens and you have to change your whole mentality. Again, this is what the soccer leagues are doing. Again, the first week that I watched German soccer, there was no advertisement. It was really weird. There was also no sound pumped in. It was really weird.
I bet.
And then they went and put all these advertisements in. They started pumping sound in. Now all of a sudden you watch a game and it's, yes, there are no fans there, but it doesn't really change the impact of watching the game.
Right.
Now, NFL is going to have to pump sound in. Like they're going to have to. And I know that's not what we're talking about here. But it does suck for those people that have season tickets. But the reality is they're not probably going to the game anyway.
Right.
If we do have fans in the games, it's going to have to probably be, I don't know, 30%.
30%. And you're talking about
20 to 30%, because you're talking about bathroom lines. You're talking about food lines. You can't have that kind of social distancing.
It'd be like every 4th row in each section going around. I mean, that's just the only way you're gonna be able to do it. Not to mention, D, in the soccer games that are happening on the other side of the world, the players, the subs are sitting in socially distant spots. Yeah,
I don't think that baseball, basketball, football have planned to do that because again, NFL.
We talked about Major League Baseball. They were talking about sitting the players in the stands, socially distant from each other. So they at least have talked about it. I don't know what their final decision was. But, yeah, how are they going to do that with NFL players? I mean, if you've seen it on the sideline, it's a 53-man roster.
Right.
Only 11 people are only 11 players are on the field at one time. Right. So you're talking – and that's not even coaching staff and medical staff.
I assume the coaching staff is just all going to be up in like different booths, and the booths are just going to be filled with instead of suites. It'll just be a different coach in every booth or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, the reality is this is a smart move by the NFL. It's something that every league should adopt. I mean, the NBA it's a little different because they're going to be doing the bubble, but if you're Major League Baseball, you've got to find a way, especially behind home plate, to maximize your advertisement. And kind of any of the other hot spots in terms of where the cameras might be.
No, I think the NBA and NHL will be pretty easy. They seem to have done it in the past where they put it on the court because they put
I think they will. I was going to say with the NBA, it's all just like it's not going to be like different locales, different advertisement. It's all going to be like the same stuff, right?
Yeah, it's going to be this, or they do like a moving screen where it's a different one each quarter. Right. So I mean, there's options, but we'll see what happens. Good
for the NFL. I mean, this is a way to kind of minimize the losses that are going to come from not being able to have 100% fans in the stands.
Agreed.
All right, next up, Major League Baseball. They have approved a season? This is going to happen?
I mean,
all right,
anything can
60
happen,
game
right?
season. Let's get this right. 60-game season. It's going to start
60.
July 23rd, July 24th.
Yep.
It sounds like players are going to report July 1st with training camp or spring training starting July 3rd. What do
I
you
think
think?
they're allowed to show up on the second too, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
July 1st and 2nd.
Are we actually going to see baseball? Is this happening?
Looks like it, right? I mean, until I see that first pitch on opening day, I won't believe it. I mean, I'm worried. It's going to be a theme for me anytime we talk about a sport. I'm worried about sports happening. Like,
and so here we just got finished talking about the NFL. Major League Baseball said that the fans in the stands is going to be the team's decision based on state regulations. So you might show up to some stadium and there might be 10,000 people in the stands. I read something that the Red Sox, might have fans at some point. Big surprise. Miami, the mayor there is saying that he wants fans in the stadium.
Yeah, Miami.
Not that they show up for the games anyway because Miami's so bad, but that's neither here nor there.
But Texas will probably be the same way. Arizona said that. Kumo from New York said that fans can attend. Oh no, he only said professional sports can return. Yeah. But the other thing they're talking about is until Toronto can actually get a real plan together, they're not going to be allowed to play in Toronto. So from what I've heard, they're possibly going to split with either Miami or Tampa.
Okay.
For the season. So when Tampa has to travel, they'll play at their stadium. So it's it's gonna be weird for Toronto, and they're not gonna be near their home. And don't get me wrong, that could change by the time the season comes around, but it doesn't look like it. So let's get a little bit more into how the schedule is gonna set up a little bit.
Yeah, so they're gonna play 40 games within their division,
10 against each team,
and then 20 games interleague style against teams in the same area. So East, West, things like that, right? So you'll get. So really, again, it's not a full season. It's not going to be it's going to feel different. But if you come out of your division, you're going to be in the teams in your division. Now, there are probably some divisions out there that are weaker, that are stronger, and I know we're going to get together and kind of start to knock down the divisions one by one.
Yeah.
But if you're the Red Sox, you still got to play the Yankees 10 times. You've got to play the Rays 10 times. Toronto might not be playing in Toronto, but they're a decent team, right? Like you're going to get 10 wins against Baltimore because they stink. But that's, there are going to be some
shots fired.
I just think that it's going to be interesting to see how, if some divisions, some teams get off to some bad starts, you might see some teams kind of locking it down early and being able to kind of rest guys, whereas, some teams might be in a bitter fight to the end, which is kind of cool. But also it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
So my question for this whole thing is they haven't talked about a trade deadline. Are we going to see wheeling and dealing on that?
There's a trade deadline, August 31st.
Okay.
So a month after.
A month.
Yeah.
So they're going to play 60 games in 66 days. So, you're going to play about 30 games, and then you'll decide if you want to trade.
In theory, you're playing half a season, which is basically when they typically do the trade deadline. The other thing that's going to be interesting about this, D, is a lot of teams are talking about going to a 6-man rotation.
Yep.
And so you could see a lot of pitcher movement just because, you might want to load up on your staff and have those guys be able to go harder. And, again, you're going to have expanded rosters a little bit. So there just might be some more pitchers available. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like they have it where they're going to break it down to they're starting with a higher number of players on the roster, then it's going to lower, but then they have a big pool that they can pull in at any time.
Yeah, so there's going to be a pool in Nashville. Is that? I feel like that's what I've read, that there's going to be this free agent pool of players that you can pull from that are going to be working out playing in Nashville. Don't quote me on this, folks.
I didn't see that one, but it was just the team will have its own pool.
Okay.
I think we'll probably talk about that a little bit more when we start breaking the divisions down. But this is gonna be fun. Every team has a chance, right? This is the season where we're not going to, but you could see Kansas City versus Miami in a World Series. You know what I mean? couple injuries because it's a short spring training. People are out of shape. You've talked about injuries. Sports are probably going to be bad because people haven't been keeping up with their fitness like maybe they should. But how do you hit live pitching when you're quarantined? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, and the other thing that comes to mind, D, to be honest, and you're absolutely right, is when it comes to the trade deadline, like what are people going to be willing to give up? Right? Is this I can't imagine this is going to be something where people are going to be giving away tons of assets for some player in a shortened season where, like, you know, it just might not work for you, right? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see what teams do, how much they care about this, right? Like, one of the things that I've struggled with, you know, not so much the NBA, because I feel like the NBA was almost done with their season, and the NFL hasn't started their season yet, so there's so much to be done. But with baseball, like, how much are these players going to care about winning a championship this year, or are they just trying to get out there to play and make money? And I'm not saying that either way is wrong, but I just, like, that's one of the things that I feel like I'm going to be paying attention this year is, like, you know, if you get off to a slow start, are you just going to be like, all right, well, like, I'm going to mail it in. I'm just looking to get paid to get through the season. Like, I'm not going to go super hard because I don't want to get hurt. Now, again, these are professionals. I don't think that necessarily will happen, but it is something that I feel like is going to be like this underlying thing throughout the entire season is, are these guys going hard? Do they care about winning this season, or is it just kind of like, let's get a season going so we can get paid?
Well, I'm looking forward. In the next 10 to 14 days, we'll have an actual schedule. So
yes, sir.
That will be awesome to see, you know, when, where, how.
And we got the universal DH, which hopefully stays forever. No more pitchers hitting. I think that's pretty much official. We're never going to see pitchers hitting, which, like, again, the purists and the historians think is going to be a big deal. Please get the pitchers out of the lineup. It's going to be so much better.
You don't want to try and go through the double switch real quick?
No, I don't want to go through the double switch. I also, like, don't want to have a pitcher who's, like, throwing a really good game have to get up there and, like, tweak a hamstring swinging at pitches because he's got to hit. Like, it's just foolish.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's move to the NBA. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA players that are dropping out, and also that the schedule has been approved. Again, a late July start, July 30th, July 31st is when they're going to kick off the season. But let's jump right to the players that are sitting out. So last week we talked about Trevor Ariza. We talked about David Bertrands. Since then, Avery Bradley's come out and said that he's not going to play. Willie Cauley-Stein and DeMarcus Cousins is maybe not, but probably going to sit this out.
I mean, it'd be pretty smart of Cousins. I mean, you don't want to get hurt.
He's probably going to get hurt when he comes back next year, but like that. And again, I think we talked about this last week about like about getting hurt is the idea of like this season's going to end, and then it's basically the next season's going to start.
Yeah, they're going right into it. The thing with Avery Bradley, I mean, he's doing it kind of just like a little bit different than Ariza, but same thing. He's doing it for family reasons.
Yeah, he's got a son who's ill, right? He's got
he's got a respiratory illness. Have you seen the response he got from this?
I've seen that response. I've seen the response of people on social media to these players deciding not to play. I mean, Bradley's Laker Twitter is the worst.
Yeah.
But even like the people going after Bertrands, Willie Cauley-Stein's not playing because his partner's about to have a kid or the due in July. Obviously, Cousins, we talked about the injury, but like, listen, folks, sports is not the end of the world. I'm sure Avery Bradley sat down with his teammates and said, listen, guys, I want to be there with you, but my son's sick. And I'm sure they said, you know what, Avery, we really want you here, but that's your choice. And like, I clown on LeBron James a lot, but like, he's the ambassador to this league. He's the best player in the league pretty much. He's a really good guy, and I'm sure he was like, Avery, whatever you have to do for your family, you do for your family. Now, Lakers Twitter, y'all can get to rate the hell out of my face. Like, again, we're in a country where like there are plenty of bad people doing stupid things day in and day out. Like, leave the man alone.
It's Twitter. I mean, we can go back to the Fail Mary. I mean, I read this. You read the tweets that Brandon Bostic got for that, and it was It wasn't just like you're the worst. It was, F you, the N word. People take it to that level because they love their sports teams. Like that's, you know what? Guess what? It's get a life and move on. Let them live their life because
and you know what
important.
the crazy thing is, D? The crazy thing is, if Bradley was playing on the Pistons right now and they were like the worst team making it into this thing,
Yep.
my guess is a bunch of people wouldn't be responding the way they are. But the Lakers are on – they have the potential to win a championship. And
he's a great defensive piece.
Right. And, again, people just chill out.
But, hey, they're going to get J.R. Smith.
There is no – yes, go ahead and get J.R. Smith. I can think about like a million other people that I would get other than J.R. Smith. But, like, LeBron and you guys, you do you. I just think that, like, there are five people so far that have said that they're not going to play. That's it. And they all have legitimate reasons or reasons that at least in my opinion, I can get behind. Right? Like I could see people like giving David Bertrand a hard time, but you know what? I also get it. Like I want to get paid. I'm in this business to get paid. Like you do a job to get paid. You don't do a job to like satisfy your fans. Well, in most jobs, we don't have fans. I don't have any fans in the jobs that I do, but like, good for them to making this decision, and the people that are clowning them can get the right the hell out of my face. I saw Paul Pierce come on. I saw him make a statement somewhere that said that like he supports these guys in full. That's because Paul Pierce is the month of truth. He's a great human being, and he gets it. Like this is the personal decision because of your situation, and people need to let that be.
Yeah. So I think the first 3 games of the season are killer. Jazz, Pelicans, Clippers, Lakers, and Bucks, Celtics. Like, put me down for all 3 of those games.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jazz, Pelicans, whatever. No.
What? Zion? I mean, come on.
No, I'm down to watch Zion. I am. I was sneaky into Zion before the season shut down. No, those games are going to be off the chains. Again, I think they're going to be like 85 to 75 games. I've already been on record of saying that. But it's, again, I think the excitement – and you and I have talked about it in this episode, and we've talked about it off the air. We talk a lot about the excitement of like these sports coming back, but the reality is like we're just kind of worried because there's a lot of conversation about these sports coming back, and the reality is it hasn't happened yet. And there's a lot going on in this country right now, and we hope. But let's get back to those games. Yes, Celtics, Bucks, feed me that. Feed me Lakers, Clippers, like of course, like give me all of that.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I mean, I'm here to watch Zion whenever I can watch Zion.
Yeah, I'll be sitting down on Thursday, July 30th, and watching both of those games.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, D.
I got Bears. Maybe we'll even freaking live tweet from at Beers Up Sports Talk.
Yes. Plug that. Listen, here's the crazy thing. So they're gonna all play 8 games, right? They've got the 8 games that they play. 7 times. There'll be 6 games in a day. So take your vacation, folks, right around the time the season starts, and just turn on the TV and watch basketball all day. Like, just black out. Just have it. But here's the thing, and we've talked a little bit about this, and again, we don't want to get super negative, but Florida's not doing great right now. It wasn't just a couple of weeks or about a month ago that the governor of Florida was out there pumping his chest, beating on his chest, saying how Florida's great and, there's no problems. And Florida's not great now.
No.
And that's where all the NBA players are going to go.
And they're closing restaurants, bars.
Yeah. So I did read today that Adam Silver is a bit concerned with what's happening in Florida.
No.
They don't have a contingency plan.
Well, that's not smart.
Disney employees will be able to come and go. I just feel like Adam Silver needs to kind of like lock everybody's shit up real quick and just be like, listen, if you come in, you're staying in. If you leave, it's a legit bubble. You're not coming back in. Because
I do think that's the way they should do it. I if they're going to do this and they want to make it happen and actually finish the season, I know it would suck. I mean, you're away from your family, but stay in the bubble, make it happen, and then you're gone. You're free after, what is it, 80 days or something like that?
Well,
Which
and
is
here's the thing: we've talked about how
3
great
months,
the bubble.
but
We've talked about how great the bubble idea is, except when Florida becomes a hot spot, and again, they're going to do daily testing. But again, if 5 players test positive today, well, those 5 players interacted with a whole bunch of folks yesterday, right? And so, again, I'm really excited about sports, but this situation I am just a little bit worried about.
I'm with you on that. And, don't fuck up my sports.
All right, and we finish on a happy note. Vince Carter has retired, officially 43 years old, first round pick in 1998. For you and I, that's like right at the height of our like basketball careers. I mean, I'd say like I was pretty much like ready to go pro at that point.
Right.
Right. And so give me your Vince Carter feelings.
He was awesome to watch, athletic. I mean, you'll never forget the dunk over the big guy in the Olympics. The dunk contest, him teaming up with McGrady, it was just awesome to watch. I mean, you wonder why he didn't do a little bit more, but I mean, he's still such a great player. But he could dunk, and that's what I think he's going to be known as. Like, he's not going to be known as the sharpshooter. He was pretty good defensively, and I guess the question is, he's definitely an all-star. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Oh, 100% a Hall of Famer. 100%. Here's the thing about Vince. I was thinking about this before we came on. I think we devalue him because he was an unbelievable player, an unbelievable athlete, could dunk through the roof, but like wasn't a loud guy.
Right.
Like certainly when he was younger, he showed a lot of emotion and stuff like that. But like, he was a guy that put his head down and went to work. And, those Nets teams that he was on were really good. Yep. When he got to the Raptors as a rookie and when McGrady and him teamed up, like they were really good. And it's frustrating that they didn't get to do more. And then kind of in the back end of his career, he became this kind of like mentor and, kind of team rock for a lot of teams. I just like I was just thinking the entire time that I was thinking about what I was going to say was like, yes, dunk contest. Like when he won that first dunk contest, he crowbowed, he literally dunked it like right here. Like I went out and did it like a million times, on a 10-foot hoop because I could like totally dunk on a 10-foot hoop. And yeah, him dunking over that guy in the Olympics, but like he's just this guy who I think when it's all said and done, we're going to be like, holy shit, he was an incredible basketball player, like incredible. I mean, I believe he came in with Rasheed Wallace, right? Like,
you're thinking of Stackhouse and Wallace.
Okay, so I'm off on that. So anyway,
yep.
He comes in from UNC, and he comes in. You're right. He's known for his dunking, but then he becomes this like really good basketball player. He can shoot the three. He can dribble. He can take it to the rack. He can play defense. He's 6'5", but he's super long. Like I don't know. I can't think of like a time when I didn't like Vince Carter.
Right. Yeah, I can. When he was playing for North Carolina, you Duke fan?
Oh, I mean, I still loved watching him. I mean, Duke probably beat him, and it's all good. Probably not, though. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's an easy Hall of Famer. The crazy thing is he didn't win a championship. I know they got close a couple times, when he was on the Nets. Because I believe that's like Kidd, Carter, Richard Jefferson. Like those guys, they had a little bit of a squad there.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate he never got the ring. And again, at the end, he wasn't chasing it, right? He was playing for Mavs teams when they weren't that great. He was playing with the Hawks when they weren't very good, right? Like he was a guy that was going to these younger teams and helping mentor guys, which
I mean,
how good of a guy he was.
Probably easily could have went to the Big Three in Miami if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. And just been a role player and did what he had to do. He could have went and did that in Boston, I'm sure. But like you said,
this is a conversation for another episode. But like, I don't understand how these teams teams don't keep their superstars. Like you have McGrady, you have Vince. You basically sit those guys down and be like, whatever you need.
Right.
Got you. 'Cause y'all can go. Right?
No doubt.
Seems that way. I don't know.
Yeah, but people want to get out of Toronto. The exchange.
I don't know. Toronto's a pretty great city.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, he went to New Jersey. Anything else? Anything else, Night D? Shout out to Vince Carter. Like, good on you, Vince. 43 years old. Like, I'm 39, you're 40. Like, he's playing NBA basketball, and we sit here and drink beers.
Right.
So shout out to you.
Awesome. Was it 22 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good on you for the math.
98. I was 18, and now I'm 40, 22.
Yeah. He's been playing basketball for 22 years. What have you been doing for 22 years?
Having fun, bro.
That's what I'm talking about.
No doubt.
All right, y'all. Listen, wear your masks.
Wear your mask.
Wear your goddamn mask. Keep listening. Keep talking. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Listen to the damn iTunes, will you?
Hey, I want to shout out DC. DC, the House voted their statehood.
Oh,
so
did they?
They voted for approval, so now it's got to go to the Senate. So we know that won't be voted on for, I don't know, whatever, because they want to suppress them some more. But hey, at least we're making that step. 700,000 people might get some representation.
All right, we'll see y'all next time.
People. Peace.
Later.